Chosen one, anchor your spirit to every word I am about to speak. That restlessness you have been carrying since you woke up this morning, stop pushing it down. The enemy is working overtime today for one reason and one reason only. He knows what this day is about to mark in your life. It all begins today, not next week. Not when you feel ready, not after you fix what you think you broke, today. And it is not beginning because the timing is perfect. It is beginning because you are, because of what you have already done, what you have already endured, what you refused to let destroy you. Think back to that moment this week when you looked at your own reflection and did not recognize the person looking back. When you felt like you had drifted so far from who you were supposed to be that the distance felt unrecoverable. You did not know it then, but that moment of honest reckoning was not a crisis. That was a consecration. That was the moment heaven marked your file and said, "This one is ready." You did not stumble onto this message by accident. The algorithm did not bring you here. The Most High did. This is a divine appointment, written before the foundations of the earth, scheduled for this exact day, this exact hour, this exact version of you that has been through enough to finally receive what is being released right now. Do not click away. Your future self is on the other side of the next few minutes. And if you leave now, you leave before the new chapter opens. Because in this message, I am going to hand you the spiritual decree that officially closes the old version of your story. I am going to walk you through the exact audit so you can see every battle you won without realizing it. And at the end, I am going to give you the declaration that seals this new beginning and locks the door on everything you have been trying to escape. Stay until the very last second. I know what the atmosphere has felt like for the last 72 hours. It has not just been quiet. It has been suspended, like the whole world paused and forgot to tell you why. Maybe you have been moving through your days feeling like a stranger in your own life, going through the motions, checking the boxes, but feeling a hollowness underneath it all that you cannot seem to shake. Or maybe you have been waking up at 3 in the morning this week, not from a nightmare, but from a silence so loud it pressed against your chest and would not let you breathe easy until the sun came up. You feel like you are standing between two versions of yourself, the one you were and the one you are supposed to become. And the distance between them feels like a void with no map. And in this void, the enemy has started whispering a very specific lie. He is telling you that the reason you feel this way, this unmoored, this lost, this behind, is because of something you did. He is replaying a specific moment. Maybe it was that conversation you should have had but avoided. Maybe it was the dream you quietly set down because life kept getting in the way. Maybe it was the version of yourself you abandoned when the world made it too costly to hold on to. The accuser is telling you that was your defining failure. That because of that moment, the new beginning you keep praying for has been disqualified. That you are not getting a fresh start, you are getting consequences. But I need you to hear what the scripture actually says about this moment. Lamentations 3:22 through 23 says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness." Listen to that promise. New every morning, not new when you earn it, not new when you have made up for what you lost. New this morning, new this day, new right now. The enemy wants you to believe you are trapped in a loop of your own making. He wants you to believe that the version of you who made mistakes is the version of you that heaven sees. But that is a deception. You are not being held back. You are being held together long enough to step into something that your old self could not have carried. The hollowness you feel is not absence. It is clearing. It is the sacred emptying that always precedes a divine filling. You are not falling apart. You are being reconstructed. That moment you walked away from who you used to be, the habits, the relationships, the version of yourself that was slowly erasing you. You thought that was weakness. You thought that was giving up. Let me reframe your reality right now. That was not surrender. That was surgery. And this day, not tomorrow, not eventually, This day is when you open your eyes from the table and discover that the operation worked. There is something happening in you right now that did not begin when you pressed play. It began long before this moment, in the quiet, in the waiting, in the seasons that felt like abandonment, but were actually assignment. And what God is doing in this hour is not random. It is not coincidence. It is the culmination of everything you have been through, pressing itself into a single point of divine release. You are not here by accident. You are here because something in your spirit recognized that today carries a different weight. Some messages don't just inform, they activate. If something stirred deep in your spirit just now, you may be ready to receive the chosen one's blueprint. This sacred guide reveals the 8 divine patterns behind your calling, your suffering, and your destiny. It also comes with the full audiobook, so you can absorb it during prayer, rest, or quiet moments with God. And for those called to speak His truth, you'll also receive Activating Your Prophet Mantle, a powerful bonus ebook for those carrying a prophetic assignment. The link is in the first pinned comment, but only for a limited time. Now here is what most people will never understand about the sacred pivotal place you are standing in right now. You have been interpreting your seasons of delay not merely as a pause, but as a chilling sign that God forgot you, or worse, that you somehow fundamentally disqualified yourself from the promises He once whispered to your soul. But what if we were to radically reframe this perception? What if the delay was never punishment at all, but rather a preparation so precise, so profoundly intentional, so meticulously and surgically designed, that even the deepest valleys of pain had a purpose you simply couldn't discern while you were still traversing them? The truth, often concealed in the shadows of our impatience, is that you do not get to carry the monumental weight of what God is about to release into your hands, the anointing, the influence, the breakthroughs, without first being thoroughly refined and trained in the crucible of obscurity. Consider Moses, who did not walk into Pharaoh's opulent court armed with divine authority the day after he fled the palace in his youth. No, there were 40 long years in the desolate desert, 40 years of profound silence, of tending the quiet flocks, of intimately learning the rugged terrain, the hidden springs, the treacherous pathways of the very land he would one day lead his people through. What, to the casual observer, appeared to be a monumental failure, a wasted life, was in fact divine geography. God was not merely marking time, He was meticulously teaching Moses the very terrain of his own destiny, forging in him the resilience, the humility, and the deep dependence necessary for the colossal task ahead. This training in the wilderness, in the unseen, was the essential foundation for the visible glory. It was there, away from the applause and expectations of men, that his spirit was chiseled and strengthened, becoming fit for the weight of a nation. As Psalm 105:19 reminds us, until the time that his word came to pass, the word of the Lord tested him. Your desert, your delay, is not a void. It is a divine university, a masterclass in preparation for purpose. And this is where the spiritual excavation goes deeper for you, piercing through the layers of surface understanding. Because the fundamental question is not whether God has an intricately woven plan for your life. That is assured by His very nature. The truly penetrating question is whether you, in the deepest chambers of your heart, have been able to trust that plan in the seasons when it appeared, to your human eyes, that the plan was utterly falling apart. There is a version of you, vivid and fervent, that once prayed with an unquenchable fire, that believed with every fiber of your being, that clung to promises like a lifeline in a storm. And then you watched as those very things, those dreams, those relationships, those opportunities, collapsed anyway, perhaps not with a sudden bang, but a slow, agonizing crumble. And in that collapse, in the dust and debris of shattered expectations, something profound and perilous happened beneath the surface of your conscious awareness. You built an agreement. Not one uttered out loud in a prayer of resignation, not a spoken vow to despair, but in the quiet, bruised chambers of your disappointment, in the hollow echo of what you thought was lost, You allowed a belief to take insidious root, a silent covenant with doubt. It was the whisper that perhaps you were the painful exception to divine favor, that the vibrant promises, the breakthroughs, the anointing were real, yes, but they were reserved exclusively for others. That genuine breakthrough was indeed possible, just, tragically, not for you. This insidious agreement, forged in the fires of your past pain, has become an invisible yet ironclad ceiling on your potential, a self-imposed limitation whispered into existence by a wounded spirit. That deep-seated, silent agreement, born from the anguish of perceived abandonment and disappointment, is precisely what we are breaking and irrevocably severing today. Because here is the profound, yet often unacknowledged truth about agreements we make in pain. They are masterful deceivers. They masquerade as wisdom, cloaked in the robes of prudence. They feel like necessary self-protection, a pragmatic shield against further hurt. They even present themselves as the mature, realistic, and perhaps even spiritually grounded version of faith. But look closer, listen deeper. They are, in truth, chains. Invisible yet tangible chains, skillfully dressed in the alluring language of discernment, masquerading as prudent caution. And what has been holding you back, what has truly stifled your ascension, is not solely the enemy's overt attack from the outside, the external forces seeking to derail you. More powerfully, it is the quiet internal vow you made to yourself, in the darkest corners of your soul, when no one else was watching, and you mistakenly believed God wasn't listening. But He was. Oh, He was listening. He heard every silent prayer, every broken whisper. He saw every tear, each one falling like a pearl onto His compassionate heart. He counted every long, desolate night you wrestled with your doubts, every season of your waiting. And beloved, none of it, not a single drop of your pain, not a solitary moment of your struggle, was wasted in His divine economy. It was all woven into a tapestry of strength and wisdom you could not have otherwise acquired. But the liberation, the breaking of these chains, demands your active participation. You have to be willing, with intentionality and courage, to let go of what you told yourself in that isolated, pain-filled room, to revoke those contracts of limitation. Coming up next, and I urge you to stay with me through this revelation, for it is profound. There is something remarkably potent and powerfully redemptive hidden underneath the very thing you have consistently called your greatest weakness, your most debilitating flaw. Stay with me, because what I am about to show you next is not just an insight, it is the spiritual leverage that entirely breaks the cycle of your past and propels you into an unimaginable future. Before you can fully step into this vibrant new beginning, before you can truly inhabit the expansive landscape of your promised destiny, you must fundamentally comprehend something radical about the very way God builds and elevates His chosen ones. He does not operate from a linear progression of strength to strength, a predictable upward trajectory that our human minds often assume. No, His divine architecture often builds through descent. It is a paradox, a sacred mystery etched into the very fabric of His kingdom. Consider this unmistakable pattern throughout Scripture. Joseph, a favored son, goes down into the pit of betrayal, then into the slavery of Potiphar's house, then further down into the desolate darkness of the prison, before he miraculously rises to the palace as second in command of Egypt. David, the anointed king, finds himself not on a throne, but as a fugitive, hunted like an animal, living in the damp, lonely caves before he finally takes the scepter. Jonah, the disobedient prophet, is swallowed whole, plunging down into the suffocating, crushing belly of the whale before he is spewed out onto dry land, directly into his divine assignment. The signature pattern of heaven is almost never ascension first. It is, almost universally, descent, then a season of spiritual death, a stripping away, an emptying, followed by the glorious, undeniable power of resurrection. And if you have recently found yourself in a season that felt acutely like going down, like a spiritual freefall, that felt like dying to cherished dreams, that felt like being swallowed whole by circumstances beyond your control, do not I implore you, interpret that as God rejecting you or forgetting his covenant with you. Quite the contrary. That precise, often agonizing experience is the signature pattern, the indelible mark of the very ones he is raising highest, preparing for the most significant impact. It is the refining fire, the pressure that creates the diamond, the winter necessary for the spring. The descent is not, and has never been, the ultimate end of your story. It is simply, profoundly, the powerful method through which heaven refines, reshapes, and redeems. It is the divine process of emptying you of self so that you can be filled with his fullness and carry his glory. And this profound understanding of descent as method leads us to something most people miss entirely, a subtle yet seismic truth that will irrevocably change how you carry yourself, how you perceive your challenges, and how you walk in faith from this point forward. In every single one of those biblical descents we just spoke of, Joseph's pit, David's wilderness, Jonah's whale, there was always, without fail, a moment of profound, unequivocal surrender before the divine turn came. It wasn't a sudden change in external circumstances that shifted first. It was an internal capitulation to divine will. Joseph, stripped of everything, stopped trying to explain himself, stopped striving, and simply started serving faithfully right where he was, in the prison, allowing God to work through his obedience in obscurity. David, hunted and heartbroken, stopped running from the identity God had declared over him and instead began to worship in the wilderness caves, his psalms of lament transforming into anthems of trust, solidifying his identity in God, not in his circumstances. Jonah, after his dramatic flight from God's call, finally stopped running altogether, releasing his stubborn will, and from the darkest, most terrifying place he had tried to avoid, he finally prayed a prayer of true submission. The turning point was never, ever a clever new strategy or a brilliant human plan. It was always, unfailingly, surrender. And let us be clear, this is not a passive, resigned surrender, not an act of giving up in defeat. It is the most powerful, active, and courageous form of surrender imaginable, the kind that consciously declares, I release my meticulously planned timeline. I release my tightly held version of how this breakthrough should look, how my destiny should unfold, how God should move. I trust, with every fiber of my being, what I cannot presently see with my physical eyes, because I absolutely know who is holding what I cannot see, who orchestrates the unseen hand of providence. That surrender is not a demonstration of weakness, but an unparalleled act of spiritual strength. That surrender, that deep, trusting release, is precisely what unlocks the next glorious chapter of your divine narrative. It is the key that opens the door to the unexpected, the miraculous, and the truly transformative. Now here is something that will undoubtedly challenge you, beloved, and I need you to stay with me through this because, initially, it will not feel comfortable. It may even feel counterintuitive to everything you've been taught or believe about spiritual practice. There is a specific prayer you have been praying, perhaps for years, that has, ironically, been subtly slowing you down, acting as a spiritual anchor rather than a sail. This is not to say that prayer is inherently wrong. On the contrary, it is essential. Nor is it an indictment that God is not answering, but rather, it is because buried deep within the layers of that earnest petition, intricately interwoven with your plea, is a profound fear you have been unknowingly disguising as faith, cloaking as a desperate request. You have been asking God, with all your heart, to move mountains, to open doors, to shift circumstances, but underneath the profound asking, there has been a palpable, unacknowledged fear of what truly happens if He actually does. Because if He moves, if He truly answers in the magnitude you desire, you too have to move. If the miraculous door suddenly swings wide open, you are compelled to walk through it. And walking through that door into the vibrant, terrifying unknown means leaving behind the comfortable, albeit confining version of you that has become accustomed to the long waiting. It means shedding the identity that has grown familiar in the landscape of pain. It means disentangling from the definition of self that has been forged and shaped by the struggle, by the not yet of your past. The human spirit, in its longing for security, often clings to the known, even when the known is painful. Indeed, there is an entire identity, a deeply ingrained narrative that you have meticulously built around your not yet, around the unfulfilled promises, the deferred dreams, the perceived lacks. And the mere thought of releasing this familiar, albeit limiting identity, even for something infinitely better, something heaven-ordained, is profoundly terrifying to the ego. Because at least the not yet is a known quantity. It is a predictable story, a comfortable cage whose bars you can name. The breakthrough, the expansive fulfillment, the stepping into your full purpose, is still unfamiliar territory, a vast open ocean compared to your familiar, if stagnant, pond. It demands a new way of being, a new way of carrying yourself, and a new story to tell, which can feel like a death to the old self, even if it is a resurrection into the true self. And what's coming next will likely surprise you even further, because the very thing you have been ardently calling your faith, the very spiritual muscle you thought you were exercising, has, in a profound and subtle way, actually been protecting a deeper, more elusive fear that you haven't yet been ready to truly name or confront. The true fear is not failure. No, you have already survived failure. You have walked through its valleys and emerged. The real fear for many is success. The real fear is visibility. The real fear is the monumental, life-altering shift that happens when you finally step into the full, unadulterated measure of who God authentically made you to be, and people begin to see you differently, to treat you differently, to expect more from you, and a quiet tremor of doubt whispers that you don't know if you can sustain it, if you are truly worthy, if you are truly capable of carrying such weight. So, you have been subtly, slowly, spiritually shrinking. A gradual retreat, a conscious dimming of your light, just enough to stay safely within a manageable space where the expectations are comfortably low, where the exposure is limited, where the responsibility feels containable. But hear this truth echoing from the throne of grace. God is not calling you to manageable. He is not calling you to a comfortable existence. He is calling you to the full measure, the expansive, magnificent stature of Christ within you. He is not interested in a smaller, diluted version of you that everyone around you finds comfortable or non-threatening. He is after the original, unadulterated person he meticulously designed before the very foundations of the earth were laid, the one that has been buried and obscured under years of rejection, layers of disappointment, heavy cloaks of self-protection, and the dust of limiting beliefs. That person, the authentic, powerful, heaven-breathed version of you, is not gone. That person is not lost forever in the shadows of your past. That person is precisely who is stirring, stretching, and waking up in you right now, in this very moment, ready to burst forth in glorious, uninhibited light. Arise, shine, for your light has come. Isaiah 60:1. And here, beloved, is where we reach something that requires absolute unflinching honesty, a radical self-assessment that will shift your perspective entirely. Some of you, perhaps unconsciously, have been waiting for an undeniable external sign, a clear signal from the outside world, before you dare to take the necessary internal step. You have been holding your breath, waiting for the adverse circumstance to miraculously shift, for every obstacle to vanish, for perfect conditions to materialize, before you finally offer that profound act of internal surrender. But the pattern of the kingdom, the divine order of breakthrough, has always worked in glorious reverse. The internal shift, the choice, the alignment, the surrender, always comes first. And then, and only then, does the external world, with all its complexities and challenges, begin to miraculously rearrange itself around what has already irrevocably changed on the inside of you. Consider the iconic moment of the Red Sea. It did not part while the children of Israel stood still on the shore, deliberating, questioning, and waiting for perfect certainty. No, the water moved, the impossible chasm opened when the first feet, in an audacious act of faith, stepped into the raging, formidable waters. The sea parted because the step was taken, not before, not after, but in the very moment of obedient radical motion. The miracle did not precede their movement. It met them in the act of faith. Your breakthrough, your next season, is not idly waiting for perfect conditions to manifest. It is, with bated breath, waiting for your courageous first step into the water, even when the water looks terrifying and the path ahead is still unseen. But here is an even deeper layer beneath that truth, one that is rarely talked about, often overlooked, and yet may very well be the single most important thing you hear today, the linchpin to your liberation. You have been subtly, perhaps unconsciously, waiting for permission. Not from God, for you know deep in your spirit that He has already given it unequivocally, etched it into the very blueprint of your being. Not from circumstances, for we just addressed the kingdom pattern of internal shift preceding external change. No, you have been waiting for permission from the people in your life, whose approval, whose validation, whose acceptance you have quietly, perhaps imperceptibly, made into an unwritten requirement for your movement, for your expansion, for your divine unleashing. There is someone, or perhaps a group of people, whose voice, whose opinions, whose unspoken expectations you have inadvertently elevated above the clear, commanding voice of heaven itself. Not intentionally, not consciously, for your heart is pure in its desire for connection. But their silence, their subtle doubt, their hesitant counsel, or their outright absence of validation has, over time, become an invisible ceiling on your calling, an unacknowledged governor on your potential. And in a cruel twist of self-deception, you have been calling it humility, when in reality, it was a profound misplaced loyalty, a loyalty to human comfort over divine command. You have been calling it wisdom, when in its truest essence, it was the deep primal fear of losing belonging, of being ostracized, of standing alone. Proverbs 29:25 warns us, "The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe." This snare, this invisible ceiling, has been a silent thief of your divine inheritance. God is speaking directly to your spirit today, beloved, with absolute clarity. The very belonging you are so desperately afraid of losing, the human approval you have clung to, cannot, by its very nature, contain or hold the glorious, expansive, world-changing purpose He is about to place into your hands. It is simply too small for your destiny. And now, we arrive at the profound reframing truth you did not expect to hear, the one that redefines everything you thought you knew about your spiritual journey. The greatest enemy of your new beginning, the most formidable adversary standing between you and your divine inheritance, is not your painful past. It is not even the enemy's relentless assignments against you, though those are real. It is not the people who walked away, who betrayed your trust, or who misunderstood your heart, though their hurts are deep. No, the greatest, most insidious enemy of your new beginning is the old version of you that you keep unconsciously going back to visit. The familiar, comfortable self that knew only how to survive the old season, but utterly lacks the capacity, the wisdom, or the strength to carry the weight and responsibility of the new one. Every single time God tries to move you forward, to elevate you, to unleash you into your next assignment, something within you instinctively gravitates back to that old version, that familiar persona, seeking consultation, seeking confirmation, seeking permission. And that old version, steeped in past pain and fear, always, without fail, counsels caution. It always advises smallness. It always whispers to wait just a little longer, to play it safe, to remain in the known. That version of you, the one built for survival, served its purpose valiantly. It got you through unimaginable trials, carried you across desolate landscapes. But it cannot, under any circumstances, take you forward into the vast, uncharted territory of your divine destiny. And today, heaven is making a sacred, pivotal request of you, to consciously grieve it, to honor what it carried, to acknowledge its service in a past season, and then, with profound intention, to release it completely. To lay it down at the altar of transformation, like shedding an old skin that no longer serves the vibrant, growing being you are becoming. For you cannot pour new wine into old wineskins. Matthew 9:17. This, beloved soul, is not merely a future hope. This is the irrefutable, undeniable beginning of the new you. Not next year, when the stars align perfectly. Not when every single condition miraculously shifts into your favor. Not when you finally feel completely ready, devoid of all fear or doubt. No, right now, in this precise, sacred moment, with everything still unresolved, still unfinished, still beautifully unclear, right here, in the raw, authentic now, the new you begins to emerge, to breathe, to step forward. Now, I invite you to participate in a profound act of spiritual affirmation. Place your hand firmly on your heart, feel the rhythm of your life, and declare this truth with me, not just with your lips, but with every fiber of your being, from the deepest wellspring of your spirit. I release every agreement I made in pain. I release every vow I made in disappointment. I release the version of myself that was built solely for survival, and I consciously, courageously step into the one built unequivocally for divine purpose. I break agreement with smallness, with the paralyzing fear of visibility, with the insidious need for permission that was never truly theirs to give. I declare, with divine authority, that my delay was not rejection, it was precise, purposeful preparation. My descent was not destruction, it was profound refining methodology. My silence was not absence, God was speaking to my spirit, shaping my soul, and teaching me the terrain the entire time. I receive this very moment as a pivotal turning point, an unshakable demarcation in my life's journey. I receive this season in all its raw authenticity as the beginning of what heaven has been meticulously building in me all along. I am not behind schedule. I am not forgotten. I am not disqualified from my inheritance. I am chosen, I am exquisitely prepared, and I am irrevocably ready. The new me does not require perfect conditions or flawless certainty. The new me begins today, in this breath, in this powerful declaration, right now. If something in this profound message confirmed what your spirit has already been sensing, I want you to drop the word new in the comments right now. Not as a casual gesture, but as a powerful public declaration. Let the universe and every person watching, every unseen force, know that something fundamental, something eternal, irrevocably shifted in you today. Share this message with someone you love, someone who is standing at the precipice, at the exhilarating edge of their own new beginning, and doesn't yet have the words or the framework for what they're profoundly feeling. Because sometimes the most prophetic, most loving thing you can do for someone you cherish is to simply hand them the mirror they desperately need to finally see themselves, not through the distorting lens of their past or their pain, but precisely the way heaven has always unfailingly seen them, whole, magnificent, and chosen for greatness.